How to pick up a lot of wax for big body strips. Dip your stick, twirl, dip again, twirl, and if you want more, simply dip one more time and you're good to go. Before you decide, determine which wax you like best, soft wax or hard wax, or even sugaring. This is hard wax. In order for it to work properly, it needs to be in the consistency of honey or pancake batter. It cannot be too runny because if it is, it means it's way too hot. It has to flow just like this. When you pick up the wax, twirl it and create a honeycomb at the edge of your stick. Get rid of any strings like if you would with spaghetti. Start with smaller strips, smaller sections. Once you get that down, create a medium strip and you can work your way to larger ones. Drop off the wax, drop and twirl. You see how I just did that with the edge of the stick? And then I work from right to left. Notice how I'm in control the entire time. I notice that I still have a bit of wax on my stick, so this allows me to determine how many more rows I can take it. At the end, always create a tab. It's gonna make the removal easier. Clean up any strings you see. Let's do the drop off again. Drop and twirl. Drop and twirl. Once you get this part down first, ready for the next part.
So here's a little hack if you don't like using your hands for cold waxing or if you find it kind of messy. And all you'll need is a flat tool. So I begin with powdering the area and then scooping the wax straight from the jar with the back of my sandok. So you begin by spreading the wax on the area with the back of the tool and then flicking it off really fast but really gently. And this is a real-time clip so you can see how fast I'm actually pulling the wax for it not to stick onto my skin. And if you're having trouble getting the wax off, just pull it really hard and fast until the wax gets off completely. And then I just soak my tool in hot water until the wax dissolves.
So your girl been looking rough lately. I know you see them hairs. They longer than my armpit hairs, bruh. Use some eyebrow pomade to outline them because you ain't trying to have lopsided eyebrows. Disclaimer and warning. Please blow the wax because duh, it's hot. You ain't trying to burn your eyelids off. I am not a professional and do not claim to be. So don't come for me if your eyebrows look lopsided. This works for me, but it might not work for you. But honestly, it's not even that hard. It saves me $20 every week and they go from crusty to can I get your number, baby?
Pay close attention to how I lay the wax. I work from right to left. I am in control the entire time. This is how I lay long, big strips like this. 2 to 4 seconds and it's set and done. If I were to use my hard wax right now without stirring it up, I would definitely be wasting my time and my product. Your wax has to be stirred multiple times a day and it has to be in the consistency of pancake batter or honey. It cannot be too thick and it cannot be too runny. It has to be just right. So I'm gonna mix it up right now, give it a nice stir, and I'm gonna pick some up. This is perfect. See how it's dripping? Twirl that stick, get rid of any webs. You should create a honeycomb just like so. Do not hold your stick going up like that like a lollipop. The wax will just fall back. Do not hold it this way either. The wax will fall down. Hold it just like this and continue to twirl your stick until you get to the desired body part. Now you want to drop off. Drop and twirl. Let's do it again. Drop and twirl. You see that? Let's do it again. Drop and twirl. Make sure you drop it off where there's no hair or halfway no hair, halfway hair. Now work it down.
Common question, which is why am I first using powder? But instead of just telling you, I'm gonna show you. So I've sprayed some water to represent the sweat that might be on the surface of your skin. And as you can see, sugar wax will not stick to moisture. So if you're starting off with clean skin, as you should be, and you're coming straight out of the shower, any water that's left behind is going to deter your sugar from working the way it should. And the same thing goes for oil. So that's why you want to start off with not just clean skin, but dry skin. That means no lotion, and why you also want to keep your powder nearby, because at any point, your skin can start producing its own natural oil, sebum. And let's be honest, the idea of waxing makes some of us kind of nervous. Why? Because we're afraid it's going to hurt. And when you're nervous, what do? You sweat. Even more. So without a doubt, if you're doing your underarms or your bikini area, powder is going to be a must. Now, as always, I'm using my sugar wax at room temperature, so please remember that this is not hot. And if you want to know how I made it, the tutorial is already posted.
Notice this strip right here. It's even from top to bottom, side to side. I also create a nice tab at the end. The removal is so easy and virtually painless. Now look at this strip. I laid the wax superficially at the top, and at the bottom it was nice and even. This caused the strip to break in half. Tried to remove it, didn't succeed, so I pressed down on the wax, laid more wax on top of it, applied lots of pressure, and then I pressed down on that wax after 2 seconds of sitting on the skin. This made the wax that was underneath get stuck on the wax that's on top. This made the removal nice and easy, and no bruising happened here, and this is exactly what we want.
Finally, you're ready to start sugaring, but do you know what prep you need to do before you get started? First, you need to exfoliate, but I've seen shower TikTok, so I know how y'all love to use a scrub before you shave, but with waxing, you don't do that the same day that you're about to snatch that hair. So while you can use a dry brush, exfoliating cloth, coffee, sugar, salt, whatever you want really, just make sure that it's at least 2 to 3 days before you plan to remove your hair. Because actually, sugaring is exfoliating within itself, but if your hair is trapped under a layer of dead skin like this one was, the sugar won't even be able to grip it because it's not exposed, so your results will be inconsistent.
So are you waxing yourself at home? Are you using Wax by Yenny starter kit? Are you using Wax by Yenny? Okay, so turn on your wax, turn up the heat all the way, and make sure all the pebbles melt. You're going to notice that it's really runny. Lower the heat now and add more pebbles. Wait about 10 to 15 minutes. Keep stirring the wax because you want all the pebbles to be melted. You want the consistency to be nice and thick, like pancake batter. Not thicker though, because then it won't spread right. The heat has to be at 104 to 115 Fahrenheit. Once you reach the consistency that you want, test the wax on your inner wrist. If it's not too hot, it's ready to go.
Stop shaving. Start sugar waxing. Ratio: 1 cup sugar, 1/4 cup water, 1/4 cup lemon juice. Warm up your glass jar. Hot substance plus cold jar equals explosion. Turn on high heat and bring to a boil. Let it continue to boil till it's golden brown. Drop some in ice water to test. If it is able to be rolled without sticking badly, it's done. Pour in jar. Don't overcook or burn, if anything, undercook. If it's too sticky when it hardens, microwave until it's honey-colored.
So before waxing, I always make sure that I exfoliate 24 hours prior. To prep the skin, I use the Pre-Care Cleansing Gel by Miley. Then I use some baby powder. And make sure you've got lots of spatulas ready. Melt your wax down at max temperature and make sure you've got enough in the wax pot. You then need to turn the temperature down just below mid-heat and then leave the wax for 10 minutes so it cools. Prep your skin with the pre-cleansing gel. And just remember, I'm not a professional, this is just what works for me. Add some talc. When your wax is a thick honey consistency, that means it's ready. Come back for part 2.
Applying hard wax, you have to apply pressure. When you apply superficially, you will notice that a lot of the hairs will break or they will not attach to the wax properly. Don't be afraid to apply pressure. Another thing to take into consideration when you start waxing is if you notice that you still have a bit of stubble after waxing, that is absolutely normal. Some people have thicker, shorter hair, and it does require a few more sessions to finally achieve smooth results. Do not shave in between and exfoliate. For more exfoliating tips, just scroll down or go to my Instagram for free information and tips.
How to tell if your hair is long enough to be waxed. Compare the length of your hair to a grain of rice. Mine is a little short, but I'm going to attempt it anyways. There were some hairs left over, and if I would have waited a little longer, it would have been a smoother wax. Let it grow.
Use your spatula on the side and spread nice and firm. Push that spatula into the skin, pushing it into the hairs. You go back over, making sure it's spread nice and even. Keep your edges nice and neat as well. What you want is a nice, clean, clear edge either side, including where you're going to pull, so it makes the strip come off in one go.
Wax University. Besties, stop shaving. Let me show you how to wax your underarms. Stretch that skin, roll all the wax off of your stick and then push it forward in the direction of the hair growth. Making a good strip is key. Woo, perfect. Remove in the direction opposite of application. Don't be a pussy and yank that baby off. So satisfying. Clean up strip. Yas baby smooth. Repeat on the other hairy one. Your turn, girl.
So the one that I bought was the blue one, which is still pain relieving, and has the cooling effect. But if you see this red one, if you see this one, get that one. That one's supposed to be better.
If your wax broke upon removal, stop picking. You are literally breaking the hairs. What you are going to do instead is get more wax and apply it over the entire section. Make sure you're working from right to left. Make sure your stick is in a 45-degree angle. Create a nice tab at the end and make sure that all edges are nice and even. Press down as much as you can. We want the wax that's under this strip to get stuck with it so that they're removed together. If it breaks again, press down firmly, pinch right under that section, and remove parallel to the skin. And voila, nice and done.
Get yourself an old towel to pop over a little stool or a chair. Once you're ready, you'll want to put your legs apart and start on the edges of your bikini line first, applying the wax in the direction of the hair growth as far as it goes down to. Make sure you keep that skin nice and tight and pull in firm, short pulls. Make sure you repeat on the other side and keep that skin nice and tight. If you feel confident to do this in a bit, lean back slightly and make sure you're applying the wax right down into the hair growth again, keeping it into smaller sections and pulling against. Then when you're ready to do the back area, it's the most difficult part, but just pop in a foot onto your stool, do one leg at a time. Make sure you apply the wax as if you're going from the bottom of your back upwards to yourself, and then use one hand to pull your bum cheek slightly open and pull against.
Alright, so I saw this on TikTok, decided I'd try it. Alright, here she's applying wax to like a really tender area. Baby, when I opened my eyes, I was like, oh my God, it worked.
Okay, you guys, so I kept seeing this TikTok wax pick and wanted to try it out. I went to Walgreens and bought some. I damn near sprayed the whole bottle, so I will let you guys know how everything went once I'm done with my wax. Okay, so I would say my pain tolerance is usually a 7 out of 10. With this, I would say it was like a 4.5 out of 10. So it actually works. So go get this.